everyone. I am Kelly Pollock. I am the Director of Content for DemCast, and this is the first of what we hope will be a series of DemCast dialogues where we're just going to have some fun one-on-one conversations with our friends, have some rotating hosts, rotating guests, and talk about some topics that I think are going to be very interesting. So joining me today is Genevieve Thiers, who is on the advisory board for DemCast. Hi, Genevieve.
Hi, Kelly. How you doing?
Great. And we are broadcasting to you from the same city. We're both in Chicago, but as you'll see, we're at our own individual quarantined houses.
We're about, what 10,000 steps away? Where you live and I live, 10 steps away.
But, we're making the best of the situation. I will say in some ways, the pandemic, of course, is not a great equalizer in a lot of things, but it is a great equalizer when it comes to amateur versus professional technology. Like, I'm doing as good a job right now as Ellen DeGeneres is doing on her show.
Ellen is doing the best job of all of us. Can I just say, when she pulled out that puzzle and she's like, yeah, 5 minutes later, she's like, no, upside down on her couch, she is quarantine life,
Yes. Yes.
Although I have to say my favorite thing was Tracy Morgan this morning on today's show, just saying anything that came into his head. I mean, just bless that man. He is awesome.
Yeah, this is a weird life. And I, of course, am an introvert. And so in a lot of ways, I don't mind not ever leaving my house, but I get the impression you're a little more of a people person than I am.
I'm dying. Well, you know me. I mean, like, I am one of those people that can't be alone with my own mind for 5 seconds. So I'm constantly organizing, like, a 700 person conference or building a tech company or singing a concert. Or, I mean, I am really literally one of those people that sort of anxiety builds. And so, I mean, that's great for me. It's great for the world. It works. It's great. But yeah, I was just thinking, it's funny, I read an article too yesterday, so I'm not the only one thinking this. Women right now, I mean, it's like the 1950s again in quarantine. So I am, a playwright, performer, and a very active activist with TechYourself. And I do a lot, but it's scattered and, across a few fields. My husband right now has a startup. So back when we ran Sitter City, he sort of deferred to me and was support. Now he's got public goods, so I'm helping him with support. So in addition to TechYourself and, performing every Saturday and similar, I'm trying to do the homeschooling and the cooking and the cleaning and because of course we don't have anybody right now. And so it's like the 1950s. I just nonstop, and then I fall in bed exhausted, and then I just get up again. It's not going to be forever.
One hopes. Yeah, I was joking on a conference call earlier today with work that it was the first conference call that my 5-year-old had not ended up on, because no matter where I go in the house, he finds me and jumps on the call. And then a little bit later, he ran in the room and jumped on the call. So
awesome.
We may see Arthur at some point here.
I hope we will. I hope we may entirely see my two 8-year-old twins come racing in too. And I think they're also in PJs again today. I've stopped counting. I don't even remember if they're wearing regular clothes anymore. I'm like, pants, shirt, great, we're good,
Yeah.
So I don't even know what they're wearing.
I will say, this is such a special occasion. It is the first time in weeks that I have put on makeup or jewelry.
Oh, yes. And if I weren't doing a Saturday concert, it would be for me too. But I've whipped myself just literally for my mental health. I'm doing a live stream concert every Saturday at 2 p.m. on my Facebook page, just opera, musical theater. I mean, that's my, I obviously have a day job too, but that's my release. Like, if I did not have that, it would be Lord of the Flies over here. It's literally saving me every Saturday to sing like 40 minutes of music online to people.
I think it's saving a lot of us every Saturday at 2. I'm like, I gotta go see Genevieve.
Oh, thank you. Oh, well, you send in any requests you want. I mean, it is literally for me and you.
So we could probably talk about quarantine life all day, as I think all of us now could. But let's talk some about technology and campaigns and how I think there are so many campaigns struggling right now with this sudden reversal of how everything is done. But this is stuff you've been thinking about for a long time.
Well,
So,
not a long time, actually. I mean, like, I will tell you, I owe the credit. So obviously we produced Tech Yourself last year, which
mhm.
we went out and we got the 10 top digital strategists in the country, on the left, and built this beautiful 200-page guide, that you can download at techyourself.org. The password is win2020. And it's totally worth a read. It's brilliant, brilliant stuff. But the other thing that we did was we then broke it out into sub-guides. There's like
Mm.
12 and then one-pagers. And there's two major reasons we wrote that, right? So the first was that nobody has any idea what to do with their digital spend on the left. We just somehow we missed that boat, and they're really rocking it on the right. So like, we need to spend 40% of our budget on that. So the book tells you exactly how, at techyourself.org. And then the other thing is nobody knows what tools to use and when. Like there's 300 tools for campaigners. Nobody has any idea what to use and where at what levels. So we broke campaigns into 5 levels, and we showed you which tools to use at each level. We gave you options, but we explained what to use at each level. So at your band 1, which is like your aldermanic, your county seat, you're going to use something like 8 to 12 tools. But at your band 5, where you're running for presidential, you're going to use 38 to 42. So we broke it out. It's all at techyourself.org. Just download it. But I have to tell you, like, Dan Kovacs from ILDCCA called me right after the pandemic hit and was like, how do we go viral now? Like, everything's changed. And until he said that, I didn't even think that we should release an addendum that's like, okay, campaigns are virtual now. Here's all the new stuff to do. So he was the one. Dan Kovacs at ILDCCA, you are awesome. Thank you for lighting a fire. And the Tech Yourself team got back on the phone, and we made our 8-page guide, which you have.
Yeah. So talk me through what's some of the first, if people are just starting to think about with campaigns, if their whole strategy was we're just going to knock a bunch of doors, the sort of first thing that they should learn, first thing they should think about.
Well, let's start even sooner than that. First, you simply got to take your team online. You simply have to do that. Like, you need to talk to each other. So like the very simplest things I'd say, and a lot of us are almost here if we're not here yet, is you got to get on Zoom, do your meetings on Zoom, learn Zoom, learn how to use it. You're gonna tell how you do stuff a little. You're not in person, right? So we're missing all those normal cues. So you've got to be more visual on Zoom, have more pictures, make a PowerPoint, flip through it, share your screen, show videos, and make sure you watch the chat, talk back to people. Zoom is about the community. It's not about you, it's about the community when you're on the phone. Also, you're going to want to, use Slack all day, just like it's like you're in a virtual office. You're just talking to your team. Make your channels, use Slack. If you want something that's encrypted, use Signal. That's the first page of the guide. It's just, these are the things that you should just basically do now to just literally move into a virtual office with your team to get started.
Yeah. And so there's been a lot, we were using Zoom, before all of this hit, but now everyone's using Zoom. And there's a lot of articles and things out there about the problems with Zoom, and people can hack into Zoom. And so are there some sort of basic things that people need to know about Zoom to be able to use it well?
Here's what I'd say for now. I mean, Zoom did not expect this level of traffic.
Yeah.
Nobody expects this level of traffic. So yes, they need to clean it up. And obviously the trolls are having a party, but they're going to have a party anywhere. So Zoom's going to clean it up. I would say that first and foremost, I mean, this will not completely protect you, but just make sure you don't publish the Zoom information anywhere obvious. Just don't like throw it on your Facebook page. Right? Don't do that, right? I mean, as for alternatives to Zoom, to be frank, I did not look them up before this call. I didn't think of it, but I can send you some right after this, and you can post it up on DemCast. But I think Zoom is fine. Just don't post it anywhere. Try to be careful. If trolls come in, just get out of the call. But when you are doing with your team instant messaging of anything sensitive, obviously phone is the best, but I'm sorry, you just need to IM. I recommend Signal. Signal is encrypted IM. It is just so much better than anything you're going to find on your phone or online. That is where you put that, oh my goodness, should we worry about this or that campaign secret or X or Y releasing? Be careful there first. Everyone can deal with trolls. Just get off the thing and do a group hang out somewhere else or something. I mean, you can always use Google Hangout or something. Zoom is good for up to like 50 or more people and up to 50 people. I mean, I find Google Hangout might tap out around 10, 12 and tools like that. So, I mean, just play smart. I mean, some people use Skype. I mean, I don't know. I think Zoom's okay. They're on it and they got to move fast. So.
Yeah, and they are putting things in. I've noticed that now it, is putting people in a waiting room before I let them into a meeting.
Right.
So they're catching up. The nice thing about Zoom, of course, is that my 70-year-old parents can figure it out. My 5-year-old can figure it out. It's pretty
so
user friendly.
It is amazing though how many people like mute themselves, and there was the woman that turned herself into a potato, and that was awesome. I can't figure out how to do it. I'm trying to figure out how to do that. I love it. But like moving on, yes, there's so many other things that are changing too with campaigns, and I want to get back to your original question, which was, oh my gosh, like what are the other major things that have changed? And one of the biggest ones is door knocking is now dead. And you can't even say you're going to send somebody out, because the first reaction I had was, well, obviously we're going to need to move to texting tools like Hustle and Get Through. That we're going to have to. Get Through is the new name for Relay. So
okay.
I always want to give you more than one option, right? Because I'm not partial to any one tool, but there's only so many out there. You're going to have to treat those the way you would treat a conversation at a door. So like, let's say you're using Victory Guide or Minivan, right? To go out and track your door-to-door, I said that in quotes, transactions or conversations. You will now be still using, like Minivan and Victory Guide, but you're going to be over here with the 30% probably of your district that has given you a mobile number. You're going to be texting them and asking those questions. So it's not just like, hey, like voting day is Tuesday. That's not just what you text. Now you text, hey, who are you thinking of voting for? I mean, what do you think about JB? Like that's how we do it now. And it's going to just have to change. What's critical about using these texting tools is that you are going to have to be ridiculously responsive. So you no longer need a canvassing team. People don't need to walk around anymore. Frankly, it's unsafe to send them out. But you've got to, once you get a reply on Hustle or Get Through, you must respond within 24 hours or you will lose them. And frankly, the optimal response time is within 6. So your team, literally, the good news is they can be anywhere. They can be in Croatia. But the bad news is they really have to quickly train themselves to be typing back their response as fast as humanly possible so that we can just move over. It's the new door knocking, texting. So one last thing I would add too, which is going to be very frustrating. Our data's behind everywhere. It's not just us, it's both sides, right? It's all sides. But the data, most districts report only 30% of their constituents have email mobile. So, one of my first thoughts was, gee, we should probably go out and use like a Victory Guide or something to put a flyer on a door where you don't have that information and ask them to send it to you, right? People do want to be connected right now, but a valid point's been brought up is that we should wait a month or two until we flatten the curve to be putting, flyers on doors, but we're going to have to go out and get that data. We had to do it at some point. We had to. So this is as good a time as any to go out and get that data so that you can door knock, virtually now text/door knock on more than just 30% of your district.
So that's sort of the one-on-one, talking to people, individual conversations. What about events, big event, people can't do town halls anymore. They can't do parties anymore. What are some ways they can do that?
It's very hard though. So you're going to have to, you can do rallies, you can do fundraisers. Here's how. You're going to use Twitch TV. So you're going to get yourself a channel. There's all of these. Just Google how to use Twitch, how to use Hustle, how to use Get Through, political texting. You will find these things, right? So Twitch TV, I think, allows you to have like a virtual party, right? Where you bring people in. I recommend you get a celebrity, somebody really well known. I mean, here in Chicago, I would get Peter Sagal or I don't know, somebody else. I'm sorry.
All of Chicago is now going to contact Peter Sagal.
Yeah, it's all Chicago. Peter Sagal, you're welcome. You're welcome. Although everyone's political, so everyone's like, please, we have no money, but but like, no, I mean, like somebody like that, or Oprah, if you know Oprah, whatever. I mean, like, get somebody famous onto that. Embed tools for fundraising while you go. Now, and I have to thank Catherine Jones at Collective Agency for this. She recommends Tiltify. So if you're doing something that's quasi-political and doesn't need to be connected into ActBlue, she loves Tiltify because it lets you like crazy graphics when somebody donates, and you can like, you know, you can sort of razz each other in between when the donations come very easily with graphics using Tiltify. But if you're political, you might simply just have to put ActBlue in as the back end, and you can do that as well. But Twitch allows you to make it basically a virtual party. It's like having a TV station you're broadcasting from. So that's events. Rallies can also be held on Twitch, and the great news is you can use like Tiltify for those, because you don't need to collect money as much. I would use Tiltify to call out supporters as they do something awesome. Like you can type something and boom, it shows up on the screen with balloons and confetti, and you know what I mean? You need something that calls out people. You will lose people on Twitch and on Zoom, frankly, if you do not get super visual, have somebody really entertaining and famous, you know, or just somebody loud and hysterical. Just find the biggest personality, right? Other than your candidate, who should, of course, be there too. You know, put that person first and foremost, and then make it about the community. The second, you know, Jan makes a joke, laugh and call out the joke. The second Bob makes a comment, thank him. You know, I mean, you've got to really make it not about you to keep everyone.
Yeah, and I recommend to everyone that you get better lighting than I have here. Clearly, I am working with some challenging lighting.
You're fine. I mean,
this is a new thing for all of us.
I would recommend, I do have a green screen and I have a ring light. I'm just going to go ahead and say candidates. I'm just making a lot of people a lot of sales right now. Are you still here?
Yeah.
Okay, good. You're gonna need to get yourself a ring light and a green screen. So let me show you what my setup looks like from the other side.
Yeah.
But literally, it's just really important to take like a section of your home. And these things are on Amazon. I think the ring light was $50-$60. I mean, I don't know, the backdrop set was 30. I mean, like, you can get it for $100, but you really need this stuff because we are in a new normal, and you want to make sure you're looking good. Well, looking good, it has nothing to do with aesthetics, but people can see you and they can get a facial expression or not lose a nuance. Yeah, and then I think we had a section of the guide about social media too, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say that's the third piece of everything.
Yeah. So what are, people were using social media before, but do you have like some best practices that should people be doing more social media now? Should they be thinking about the types of messages they're putting out?
I would round out, this is like the triumvirate of the biggest stuff with the 8-pager we released, but I would round out by saying, first of all, if you're not doing social media, you need to. If you are not, you are literally never going to be seen by anybody. Nobody will care, nobody will know. So if you're one of those people that's like, I don't use Facebook, like, you're in trouble. Don't run unless literally you have a hologram of yourself you're gonna put over the city like Batman or something. I mean, seriously. So like we talk in the guide about just learn all the things you never learned. I mean, I actually never really did TikToks that much. I like laugh at them, but I haven't done them. Now I'm doing TikToks, didn't really do that. I've bulked up on my Insta stories. Learn how to use it in the best way, obviously with social media too. Like you can Google best practices, but really a lot of it's about your hashtags. So when you post something, just post like most popular hashtags for political campaigning or Democrats or whatever. And you'll get the top 12 and just literally just have a little list and cut and paste it after everything important that you do. You will exponentially increase who sees your post, right? And nobody does this when they're new to it. So that's the basics. Just brush up on all the basics that you're not doing. You're going to want to use Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You're going to want to use, you're going to want to be on LinkedIn and do posts onto that. You're going to want to put your campaign ads, all your ads on YouTube. You're also going to want to get a lot of user-generated content. So there's tools, and gosh, I'm blanking, but there's tools to get a lot of user-generated videos about you. Go to town on that, right? Bonkers, right? The funnier you can make it, if you can do something like that Obama app that would put you into the Obama logo or sign. I mean, get super creative about like imagery, because people share stuff that makes them look good and thin and funny. I mean, think Instagram filters, right? Make one for your campaign. I'm with her and it's a flower in your hair or something. I don't know. But like, and then, I mean, there's a couple that are lesser used, I think, by older campaigning candidates. So check out TikTok. I mean, you probably aren't on it, or you might be, I don't know, but check out Reddit. You might not ever have been on a Reddit string. Fascinating stuff, right? So yeah, then once you've gone there, I recommend two other things. I recommend, I'll give you the tools, but basically it's called relational organizing tools is the best term that I've heard. And the best two of these are, one's called Outreach Circle and the other one is Team App by Tuesday Company. But essentially there are tools now that allow you to reach out to all of your people, right? And say, hey, drop your social network in this pile, right? And y'all drop your networks in a pile, like over a map of your district, right? And then you center in on what's the pile look like in my district, and you see who knows who. And then all you have to do is preset messages that your people are just firing out to those people they know in their district. So many reasons this is great. And by the way, it works really well in smaller districts. It actually is quite hard when it's outside of a state or a county, right? So think local, this is really good. It allows you to see your super connectors. So those are people that are connected to 10 or more people in your district, right? And they'll surprise you, they're in there, right? You're gonna get real close to that, right? That's the first thing. The second thing is you're gonna wanna preset your messages so that they're warm and allow for modification, which the tool easily allows you to do, but allow for modification by the person sending it. Because if I'm sending something to my aunt, I'm gonna be like, hey, how's your foot that you just broke? By the way, vote for Marie Newman or whatever. I mean, like, you can customize it, and that's really important.
Awesome. Well, we will put together some show notes to put with this, so people have all those links and they can find all those things.
I'm embarrassed I can't remember the tool for like user-generated videos, but I know there's several out there, and they're probably going to kill me after this because I forgot it, but there's several. So
yeah. Well, and we'll put the link, of course, to the 8-page guide, and then to the full TechYourself guide as well, so people can find that.
We're right there, and it's free. I mean, it cost us $60,000 to make this guide, and the idea was if you're running in a county seat or an alderman, for me it was the female and diverse candidates. I mean, that's what I live for with Run and my other projects. But I mean, it was the fact that you had to be running at like, state legislature level to even be able to raise enough to hire these consultants that knew all this technical knowledge, and that's just not fair. I mean, that's just not fair. The tech gap is massive and it's horrible. And on the left, if we wrap all this money into consultants and put a massive price tag on it, we're basically going to continue losing, right? So we've got to free the information. And I really have to thank the creators of the guide, the 10 digital creators with me. They were brilliant. They worked on trains and planes at like a fraction of their normal cost, like tons of hours to make this thing. So please see them. I mean, a few names: Michael Kurtz, Mario Piscatella, Megan Clayson, Jake Braun, Beth Becker. I mean, Kevin Kujanowski. Oh my goodness, now I'm going to forget a few people. They're going to be really upset at me. But like, these people are amazing, right? And they're all listed, and they just did so much work. It was crazy. So please get the guide. You have time. Read the guide. It's TechYourself.org. Password win 2020.
All right. That's your quarantine homework, everyone.
Yes, it is. But you have time right now. It just takes a day. Just skim it, right? Skim it. I mean, but seriously, it tells you everything and drives me crazy. We've only had 1,200 downloads. I'm sorry. There are more people, and we do have 4 states distributing it, but I don't know what is going on with the other 46. I'm like, are you okay? Like, why would you not distribute this awesome free information? It's just educational. We don't talk about any tool over any other tool, but I mean, we're just concerned. I mean, there's not this information out there, so we're putting it out there as quickly as we as we can in this format, free. I mean, again, it costs a ton of money to do this. We're not doing it for our health, so go get it.
All right, so that is everyone's homework, and home is the only place you can work right now. So homework.
Yeah. Work. It's your homework. Go do it now.
All right. Well, Genevieve, is there anything else we should make sure we talk about?
No, I feel like I blizzarded through this. If anybody needs help, just email us at TechYourself.org. We're standing by. We're here to help. There are many other organizations that are doing incredible stuff too. So, we're not the only ones. If you need another one, we'll guide you straight to them. But obviously this comes out of the New Founders work and similar. I mean, like so many leaders, 2,000 leaders are, connected through that and always talking. So we're here to help.
All right, awesome. And everybody should also check out your opera concerts on Saturdays.
Yes.
Super
Oh,
fun.
yes. Oh, you should. It's very, very weird and fun. I just sing anything, like anything. And I have like a balcony outside. And for the first few, I was on the balcony and that was really fun. And the neighbors would be 10 feet apart, hanging out, singing too. But a few weeks ago, we were like, nah, it's getting a little intense. So we stopped that. But I'm hoping once we get this curve flat again, we can do the balcony again. That was silly and fun. So.
All right. Well, awesome. And it's good to see you. It's good to see people these days.
Oh,
even if it's just virtually.
Just had some wine right now. We really need a Manhattan or something for the.
Yeah. All right. So next time we do this, we'll make it a happy hour.
Yes, we will. Okay.
All right. Well,
All
Genevieve, thank you. And I hope everybody learned a lot. Check out the links and get the Tech Yourself guide.